Hello, everyone. This is Kevin Lynch from Westminster Wealth Management. I wanted to send out a revision to my prior recordings on Social Security, except these will be for Social Security 2024 and what the latest happenings are within Social Security. So I figured I'd get this out to you. I do think this is a really important presentation that folks should be aware of what they're entitled to with Social Security, how Social Security works, and essentially what baby boomers need to know about their retirement income regarding Social Security. So let me jump into it and get going here. I will say this: if you have any questions, I do this live in libraries in my area here, and questions are back and forth and very interactive. If you have questions for me about maybe a particular situation that you have going on, please send those to info@westminsterwm.com, and I would be happy to respond to you and give you some ideas or do analysis for you and that type of thing. All complimentary, just for listening in to the presentation today. Okay, so let's jump into it. Firstly, I just got to let you know that I am licensed and registered. My broker-dealer is First Heartland Capital. You see them referenced there on the very first slide. I must give you that disclosure. Westminster Wealth Management is my company, but my broker-dealer, who I am responsible into for all my compliance matters, would be First Heartland Capital. So I just need to make sure I had that disclosure out to you. Okay, so why do I do this presentation? And I'll tell you, it's because over the years, and I've been doing this for a number of years, I've seen a problem. And the problem that I have seen is that people are hurting their retirements by making terrible and costly decisions about when to collect Social Security. Now, what is the earliest age you can collect Social Security? Well, that would be age 62. Well, should you? Should you turn on your benefit at 62? The answer I'm looking for everyone listening is, well, that depends. Depends on what? Well, that's why you're here. I'm going to go through that, okay? No answer is the same for two individuals, but let's go through it. I just want to make sure you're educated on why you might want to wait. I also certainly understand if you have to take at age 62 because you need the income. I get that. I understand that. But I just want to make sure people also understand what the alternatives are they have and why you might investigate that alternative. Okay, great. Okay, so I also, for those who are listening in, I will do a Social Security analysis. I invite you to get this analysis from me. It is customized to the couple or to the person, and I'd be very happy to run that for you if that is what you would like. Here's things that you should know about Social Security. This is in no particular order or order of priority, but I just want to make sure people are aware of this. So firstly, you have many claiming options. When I say many, okay, if you are a couple, married couple listening to this presentation, you have no less than over 4,000 combinations that you could use to collect your Social Security. Yes, so which option is correct for you? It really depends. It depends on what you're looking to do, but you have many claiming options. The decisions have far-reaching consequences. I have seen folks collect Social Security age 62 versus waiting till 70, and the differential between those 8 years could be over $100,000 of lost income. And many times the reason I hear that people tell me, well, I turned on at 62 because I wasn't sure the system would be around. I'm going to say something. If you're a boomer listening to this presentation, Social Security will be around. If you're like me, you have children who are in their 30s or 20s, it is true that they are contributing to Social Security. However, I'm not sure the Social Security program that I'm going to enjoy and you're going to enjoy is going to look the same for them. I am not sure. I can speak more assuredly about you because you're closer to actually collecting than I can about them. Later on, I'll let you know what I did for my 4 children with regard to Social Security and the question I had around whether or not it would be there. And essentially, I won't wait till later on. Essentially, what I did is I had them open permanent life insurance policies. I wanted to take advantage of their insurability. They're healthy. And I wanted to take, by the way, let me talk about insurability. So health is not guaranteed to anyone, as we know. So taking advantage of that insurability at a very young age was very critical. And then secondly, the reason that's critical is because you take advantage of this thing called compounding. So the program compounds its benefit, a permanent life policy. The reason I did it that way is because they can take a tax-free revenue stream per month out of the policy once they hit age 65 or 67 or whatever they wanted to start doing it. That can either supplement or replace Social Security in case the Social Security as we know it is not around. But that's something that I did for my children. I'd be happy to talk more about that. If you want to shoot me a note on it, I'll be happy to chat more about that. The choice you make impacts both spouses. So you want to make sure that you're maximizing the income for the couple. We'll talk more as we go through because there's definitely charts that speak to that I'm going to go through. The system is not bankrupt, nor is it a Ponzi scheme. The government funds the system. You'll see that you pay into the system every paycheck. You pay into the Social Security system. You pay 6.2% if you're the employee, plus you pay another 1.45% per paycheck into the Medicare system. So you're paying into the system each year. Benefits more than likely help the family member. I know my mom and dad collected Social Security. I know my grandmother collected Social Security. I have plenty of clients who've collected Social Security. So you probably know someone who's benefited from it. The other thing I'll say is that your friends aren't experts. What do I mean by that? Well, I've had many clients come in and say, well, you know, my brother-in-law said it's not a good idea for me to wait any longer than age 62. And I'll ask a very simple question. Well, what does your brother-in-law do? And they come back to say, well, you know, he's a carpenter. And I have nothing against carpenters, believe me, nothing. However, I don't think I would get my advice on when to take Social Security from my brother or brother-in-law who's a carpenter. I think you want to get that advice from someone who does it every day. You know, I can liken that to, you know, do you do your own dental work? Do you go out in the garage, turn the drill on, and do your own dental work to fix the cavity you have? No, you go to someone who knows something about that, much more than you know about it. So I would just recommend that it's great to have, you know, a cocktail conversation or a morning breakfast conversation with your friends about Social Security, but I would reserve going to an expert to get the advice on when to collect Social Security for yourself and your spouse, if that's the application. Okay, enough said on that. Just, it's something that I would basically make sure that you get informed advice on how to collect Social Security for yourself. Okay, so what do boomers want to know? Well, it's been my experience that this is not an exhaustive list. However, this is a really good start. Firstly, will the program even be there for me? I mean, I've been hearing this, that, and the other thing. You hear there are funding issues. I will discuss that in the presentation. The other thing I hear quite a bit is how much can I expect to receive? I think that's really important. I think knowing how the calculator works for Social Security is critical to knowing how you can improve your record. I'll go through that. When should I apply for Social Security? That is a big question I receive, and I'll go over the considerations you should have in claiming. Next, how can I maximize my benefits? Right on. We'll go through that. And will Social Security be enough to live on in retirement? I'll tell you, not if you're going to retire in these United States. If you're going to retire to the Dominican Republic or somewhere, to an island type community, Social Security could very well be enough to retire on. And I say that only from experience through my clients. I have clients who, for example, have moved to the Dominican Republic. They are living very comfortably on their Social Security check per year. They will not live that comfortably if they were stayed here in the United States on Social Security alone. Housing alone just is prohibitively expensive. But if you move outside the U.S., yeah, you could live very comfortably on Social Security. So I just wanted to make that differentiation for you. All right, so understanding the value. Let's jump into this a little bit. Will Social Security be there for me? Well, here's why it's even coming up. These are published all the time, each year. I just got my newest numbers for 22. I don't have 23's numbers. This is just January 23. They're still making the calculations. But the Old Age Survivor Disability Income Trust, that's what OASDI was. That was the original name for Social Security. The drawdown begins. What do I mean by that? Well, the trust balance is no longer growing. It's now decrementing. As you can see, at the end of 12/31/21, it was at 2.852 trillion. Now it's at 2.830 trillion. So there is actually more coming out of the system than is being paid in. That is because we don't have as many children as we do boomers that are paying into the system as boomers are paying out. Just another tidbit to give you an idea, there are 10,000 people turning 65 a day in the United States right now, and that pace is going to continue for another 8 or 9 years. Because of that, that's a huge pace. It doesn't mean they're all pulling upon Social Security, but they are turning 65 and have the ability to do so. It is huge. It is a huge amount of people pulling from the system. Okay, so we see that the trust fund drawdown is beginning. So what does that mean for those on the call on this presentation? Well, there are some long-term projections that we want to get our arms around. Number one, without some type of reform, so if we don't do something with regard to the Social Security system, by 2034, only 80% of the benefit is going to be capable of being paid out. So in other words, if you're getting $1 from Social Security, you're now going to get 80 cents on the dollar. You're going to get a 20% haircut. Well, how do we keep that from happening? And again, this is current course and speed. If we take no action, by 2034, this is what's going to happen. There is going to be a decrease in what gets paid out. So what are the things that could possibly happen? What are the reforms that they may look at?